You hold on first. Let me. You just say hello first. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear?
No, call.
Can you hear? Hello?
Just walk over lah. Waiting for them to check.
No, can you hear?
I don't know. I check. Or you can hear whether you can hear from
Can you
different
hear
side.
from your side?
If you like. Okay, let me. Then we walk over there. We already got 27 views.
How to walk?
Walk.
You can come down by the car.
It's okay. Let's go.
Which way?
That way.
I thought you said.
That way.
Let me check. I have the.
Let's go. You can continue to say something.
Where is Shama?
Later. Wait, why am I not linked?
Okay, you stop here. You're right in front of Mark Noodle. You see? It's a famous Mark Noodle, my favorite. And well, it's got an outlet in KL. The noodle is great. And I always take the simple one with just shallot and ginger. This is on Leighton Road and it's opposite Crown Plaza Hotel. And just a few blocks away is our Hong Kong office. So let's go to Times Square, please don't kill yourself. And this is Teng, one of the famous Hong Kong eateries.
Slow down.
What is that? That's a typical Hong Kong sound. A lot of noise. Okay. We're very near Times Square, waiting for the light to turn green so we can cross now. Well, it's not green yet, never mind.
MRT.
就那个红色的，前面有红色的标志，铜锣湾在最前面。
Imagine mainland Chinese guy asking me where the MRT station is. As if I know.
Let's go. Wait. You show Teng where to go. I show you lead the way. Otherwise, he go to the wrong place.
Correct.
Show him where's the spot. tell the audience you are looking for a spot where you will.
Next to Times Square, we're just looking for a spot where we can share with you what it is like to welcome Hong Kong and welcome China back. Well, for those of you who are familiar, Hong Kong, you know Times Square, good place to shop, good place to eat. For those of you who are not familiar, it's one of the popular places for you to visit. Usually very crowded. I guess it's still a bit too early, so it's not as crowded as it would be on Saturday.
You stand here. You stand here, right? No, I will. You stand here. Stand here.
Yeah.
I'll put the thing here. Help me to take out. It should be facing him. Facing him. No, the other way around. I'm using the back camera.
Oh, you see.
Back camera. No. Yeah. Okay. 可以吗？
可以。
You look past your phone. I need your phone.
What do you think? So this is our first live outside Malaysia with Hong Kong and Spain. And I'm not sure whether you can feel the weather. It's lovely. This is March, right middle of March. It's about 21 degrees Celsius. And it's one of the best times to come to Hong Kong, really, because it's not too cold. In January, December, you can go as low as below 5, below 10 degrees Celsius. And if you come in August, July, Hong Kong is pretty hot and humid. The typhoon season starts. So April, March, especially March, when it's just getting from early spring to mid spring, and the weather is about 20 to 21 degrees, it's perfect. You can do a lot of walking without feeling hot and sweaty. So this morning, this is my third day in Hong Kong. I came on Thursday, and I had the local Hong Kong favorite in Teng, which is like our Malaysia kopitiam. Right, and the breakfast was great. They open at 7 a.m. This particular outlet that I go to is my child. They open 7 days a week, every day at 7 a.m. And it's the value is unbelievable. You know, like this morning, the breakfast I had was, of course, the milk tea, the famous Hong Kong milk tea. And then I had the one of kind of a bun, but some color pao. And then I had the oat with some kind of milk. And then there were 2 eggs. And there was a ham, a slice of ham, plus the milk tea. You know, guess what? It cost 44 Hong Kong dollars. And the portion was big enough, especially for 2 persons. 44. And what if you were to go and buy, say, a latte, the usual Western latte, from one of the cafes around this area? The latte alone will cost you 45 Hong Kong dollars. So one latte, which is about this big, $45 Hong Kong, and then I go to this Changping, which is giving me a full breakfast, right? With the cow, with the milk tea, with the 2 eggs, with pork, and ham, a slice of ham, and it only costs 44 Hong Kong dollars. How can you beat that? Service is damn fast, and they open 7 days a week. So for those of you who haven't been to Hong Kong for some time to come back, because The last time I was in Hong Kong was in October 2019, just before the pandemic, and when they were having all the riots, the stupid riots there. That was my last time. So if you haven't been to Hong Kong for that many years, come back. It feels good. For those of you who have not been to Hong Kong, come. It's got a lot of things to offer. I'm not saying all this because I've been commissioned by the Hong Kong Tourist Agency or the Hong Kong Tourist Commission. I just say it because I myself haven't been here for 3.5 years, and I can tell you the feeling, the mood that I have this time. I arrive on Thursday, Saturday. The feeling is good. It's positive. Hong Kong, uh, in the last, previously, Hong Kong is as chaotic as dirty as Kuala Lumpur. This time, I find that Hong Kong is cleaner, much cleaner than before. Even the parks, because I walk from the hotel to the office every day. So the walk takes about 25 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, so for 25 minutes each way. And I can see different parts of Hong Kong as I walk. I can see the ordinary people. I can see that. And I've been walking this 25-minute distance even 3.5 years ago. So I know that they have taken the trouble to clean up the parks, the benches are well maintained, and the roads in Hong Kong now are much cleaner than before. Yes, 3.5 years ago, Hong Kong was like KL. Now, Hong Kong is better than KL in terms of cleanliness and so on. And 3.5 years ago, it's very difficult to find Tesla, the EV Tesla. Now it's so common. Everywhere, every corner I go to, there's a Tesla on the Hong Kong street. And I think one of the best part is that the mood have closed down. I mean, obviously because of the pandemic, right? There's this Bread and Manga, which is a pastry outlet from UK that I used to frequent previously, is closed down. But at the same time, a lot of new shops, very vibrant, very attractive shops that open. So the general atmosphere you have is one of a lot of better things to come. And the other interesting thing which I noticed is that previously you have a lot of Westerners in the streets of Hong Kong. Now, yeah, a lot fewer Westerners, and I think that's a good thing because in the past, the Westerners, the attitude is that they're like as if they're still the colonial masters of Hong Kong. They have a very patronizing attitude. So I don't see them, don't see so many of them nowadays, and you feel that it's it is it's a fear. It can breathe better in Hong Kong now. And because Hong Kong is part of China, so I think this is how China. That's why I welcome the opening of China, whether the mainland or the territory in Hong Kong. So uh, this one comment from Elaine Wang says, "What will be the risk on capital dynamics and our funds, right? Our China fund and so on. If one day the financial and economic sanctions imposed on Russia were to be imposed on China or Hong Kong. Theoretically, there's always the possibility, right, that America being the very selfish, narrow-minded hegemon might impose sanctions on China. Theoretically, it's possible, but in reality, it's impossible. Just a few days ago, a research think tank in America, a bipartisan think tank in America, did a study and say that the tariffs that Trump imposed, which were carried on by Biden, actually cost the American economy and the American consumers hundreds of billions of dollars, and it did hardly any damage to China. The damage was one side. It hurt the American consumers and the economy by a very substantial amount. So now the U.S. Russia relation is very different from U.S. China. Russia's economy is not important to the American economy. It's not important to many countries in the world. Right? The Chinese economy is the single most important economy, not only to the US but to the world. Right? If something in the past we would say that when America sneezes, the world will catch a cold. Now it's like this. When China sneezes, the whole world will be coming down with the flu. So if America were to impose sanctions on China, yes, who will be hurt more? America, the American economy, and the American consumer. And guess what? Because the supply chain is so integrated, it's very integrated across different parts of industry. That if you have to impose sanctions on China, you find that a lot of other countries, Asia, including Singapore, including ASEAN, of course, will be badly affected. So I would not, it is not in practical terms, it is not feasible at all for America to impose sanctions on China. Rather, I mean, in a way, they've already imposed sanctions on China. They already sanctioned a few Chinese corporations, a few Chinese individuals, but that's all that they can do. And by the way, if America were to impose, China can also counter impose sanctions on America. And people always say, America is dependent on China for rare earth and so on and so forth. But America is dependent on China for a lot of things. And one of which is, for example, the intermediate, the fine chemicals in the pharmaceutical industry. So if you can uh, look at China, opening of China in positive light, uh, in the past, in 2019, there were about 120 to 130 million Chinese tourists traveling all over the world, and they're the biggest spenders in the world. So they're coming back, and that's what it's going to do. That's going to lift up the economic growth of a lot of countries, including America and Europe. And if you are the type that only listens to one side of the story, especially if it's from the Western side, the CNN, the BBC, come and see for yourself. Next month, I'm in Hong Kong now. Next month, I'll be going to China. I'll be going to Fujian province. I'll be going to Henan. I'll be going to Shanghai, different parts of China. And I haven't been to China since January January 2020, just before the lockdown began. I was in China. So I would love to go back and see what changes have occurred in China. Right? There's a question from YK. So this is totally nothing to do with the opening of China, the welcoming of China. It says the Silicon Valley Bank crisis. Paul Krugman says it will lead to another global financial crisis because the traditional banks are strong. What's your view on this? Okay, first thing is, all these global financial crises, first thing you must notice is all these global financial crises are created by America. In 2008, it was created by America. Now it is created by America. In 2000, the technology bubble was created by America. So the first thing is, please notice that, right? Will it be another GFC? Yes and no. The 2008 crisis and the current banking crisis are totally different. They have different underlying causes, they have different consequences. Right? Now, in 2008 was a credit risk, it was default, loan default, was a credit risk crisis. So the solution is different. Now it is not a credit risk crisis, it is an interest rate and liquidity risk crisis. Because the underlying cause, the factors that cause the Silicon Valley Bank is different from 2008. So solutions, consequences are very different. What it means is very simple. If America's interest rate, inflation rate cannot go down, America's inflation rate has been very stubborn. even though the Federal Reserve has very aggressively increased the interest rate by 450, 500 basis points within 1 year, right? Inflation in the US is still at a high level. In fact, in the last couple of months, there are signs that the core inflation in the US is re-accelerating. That means it is reversing and gaining momentum. Now, if you're the Federal Reserve, what are you going to do? Are you going to make sure that financial stability is there, that the banks don't go bankrupt, that no more bank runs? Or do you make sure that US inflation doesn't get worse and come back? Now, if you're the Federal Reserve, yes, a very difficult, you have two problems which require different solutions which are contradictory to one another. So my guess is that the US inflation is not going away and the Federal Reserve has no choice but to tackle the very serious inflation problem in the US. What does that mean? That means the banks, the regional banks, the big banks in America are going to be hit by more interest rate increases. When the interest rate rises, the government bonds, the value of government bonds held by the bank are going to fall in value. Right? The reason why Silicon Valley Bank went past is because you see the bonds can be held to maturity or available for sale. If it's held to maturity, then not much of an issue. But because a lot of deposits were being withdrawn, so Silicon Valley had no choice but to take the available for sale bonds and sell it at a big loss. So now, a lot of the big banks, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, have a lot of these securities, and a lot of their deposits are uninsured. So, for Paul Krugman to say that it will not be like GFC of 2008, partly is right, partly is wrong. It will not be the same as 2008, but it could be more serious than 2008 because the US interest rate has got to continue rising because US inflation rate is not dropping, and as interest rate goes up in the US, mid-sized banks, regional banks, the large banks are going to be affected, and the Biden administration, which is totally incompetent, is not prepared. They are asleep at their job. They are not prepared to deal with a systemic banking crisis.
Can we continue that?
Yeah, sure.
Just follow you.
Yeah, you follow.
So we're moving. We're moving closer to the Times Square building. Just now we're just outside,
Too noisy. Some conflict.
and a lot of people are complaining that they can't hear because it's noisy, and I'm really shouting on top of my voice. My throat is so dry. Here you have it, very comfort, Hong Kong leading departmental store, where it's like something like Pakistan, high end, a lot of premium goods inside there. So you have the Ferragamo. This Times Square has got a lot of high end departmental stores. Ferragamo is one of them. So we asked by the security guard whether we got permission to shoot. Okay.
Take more.
And can report to the manager. Ask the manager, the security guard wants to know what we're doing and so on. And she wants to report us to the manager. So I say, welcome. Ask the manager to come. We can interview the manager and ask him what it is like. What it is like with the borders reopening.
It's noisier here.
Oh, noisier. Anyway, it's noisier here, so we'll move again. Who knows? That might be.
Got
No comment, no comment.
got comment. Got comment. Got two more, two more. Don't stand in front of the door. Here, here.
Okay. So, now there's a question from Anthony Liu. China will return to pre-pandemic prosperity, but how long will it take? Right? Will it just last for this year? Oh, no, no, no. I think if you know the Chinese government well enough, this return to pre-pandemic prosperity will happen very fast this year, right? And they've been very cautious, very careful to say that GDP growth this year they expect to be about 5%, which is very conservative. I expect the GDP growth to be more than 5%. Will it just last for this year? No. This pre-pandemic recovery will last for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. It will take China to a truly successful developed economy, right? And I think if you look at how Taiwan, South Korea, and the other countries in the initial period when they open up their borders, the first 2, 3 months, 3, 4 months, usually people are nervous and so on. The recovery is generally very tentative because people are not sure whether it's safe to go out, whether they want to spend and so on. The same thing most likely will happen in China. So because opening up happened very close to the Chinese New Year, and we don't really see the trend. But all the economic indicators that we have seen so far, retail sales, fixed investments, and so on, are better than expected. And as time goes by, as time goes on, people find that it is safe. And during the pandemic, starting from 2020 up to about 2022, the Chinese consumers, because they were very careful and they didn't want to spend this, had additional saving of about 2 to 3 trillion US dollars. That is going to be spent. The mindset now is very different. That look, I don't want to save so much because when the pandemic happens, then what happens to all my savings? I can't use it. So the mindset now is let's consume, let's not save so much. I already got so much savings. Let's consume, let's spend, let's have a good time. So I think the recovery of the Chinese economy in the next couple of years will be stronger than what the Western analysts have forecasted, but it will be of a different quality. The quality will be different. People will spend on different things, people will prioritize different things, but on the aggregate basis, the Chinese economy, the Chinese consumers will save the global economy because the Western economy is about, if you look at Credit Suisse, look at the Silicon Valley Bank, and last night you have the First Republic, which is not a small bank, and then you spread. The Western economies are about to face another serious banking crisis. Who's going to save the rest? Who's going to save the global economy? China. And the Chinese recovery is sustainable because it's not on borrowing. The consumers are not highly geared. They do not have that much borrowing. In fact, like I said, they have built up so much saving that they can continue spending without having to turn to borrowing. So let's not look at the situation too pessimistic. See it as an opportunity for you to be able to buy Chinese stock at very attractive valuation. Very attractive. Some of them, the utility stocks can give you dividend yield of 10%. 10% dividend yield. And not forgetting, in the case of the Chinese stock, you have a currency that is strong and stable. Whereas the US dollar should be peaking. Maybe sometime towards the later part of this year, the US dollar next year should start to weaken. Yeah, I answered this one. The other one, there's another one. We got another comment from CA Lim. Opening of China fiscal policy is definitely a great thing. With AI and ChatGPT now the next big popular technology wave, will China be limited due to still relatively controlled information flow, especially when it comes to the sensitive topic areas? Mr. Lim or Ms. Lim, don't worry. Uh, China has always got relatively controlled information flow. It's always been like that for a long time, and yet you have not seen e-commerce being restricted. You have not seen all kinds of mobile mobile communication being restricted. The same thing, AI development. China is on par, if not ahead of US. So we find that when it comes to ChatGPT together with AI, uh, there are already many companies in China that already have the ChatGPT and AI, whether it is Baidu or Alibaba and so on. Many of them have already got it. So that's the least of my concern. It's only a question of how competitive it will be among the Chinese players. Because among the Chinese, within China itself, there are so many companies that have got the ChatGPT and AI capabilities. Is China tech startup financing structure similar to US type? That means Silicon Valley deposits and loans. No, not really. Silicon Valley Bank was created out of a poker session. And a few of the people were playing poker, thought that was a good idea. It was back in 1983. And they said, oh, let's start up this kind of bank. In China, Silicon Valley Bank, they have a joint venture. Silicon Valley Bank has a joint venture with a Chinese partner, but that's all that they have. And the Chinese startup financing, whether it's through private equity, venture capital, is is flush with liquidity because the Chinese government is fully behind it. In America, is a lot of private initiative. In China, is a lot of public sector initiative. The Chinese government has pumped billions, hundreds of billions into different types of startups, different types of venture, especially if they are of national strategic interest. I don't see an SVB type situation happening in China. I mean, many of you may not be aware that China has got this so-called banking crisis. Like last year in Henan province, in the rural area of Henan, there was a mini banking crisis. And then there was another one in Inner Mongolia, but there was a local bank. And the Chinese government handled and solved it within a couple of months. And that's it. It's over. Whereas in the case of America, Biden, Biden is asleep. You know, Biden and his gang of warriors, what do? They go around the whole world fighting imaginary enemies like Russia and China, and then they don't bother to take care of their own country. Come on. Silicon Valley Bank, cause of its bankruptcy is not due to anything. It's due to the fact that interest rate in America increased too fast within a short span of time. In 1 year, it increased by 450, 475 basis points in 1 year. Now, the Federal Reserve knows about it. The Janet Yellen of the US Treasury Secretary knows about it. Biden administration knows about it. So why didn't they scrutinize the banking system more closely? You know that higher interest rate has got an impact. Higher interest rate will have casualties. So why didn't you look at your mid-sized bank or regional banks or large banks? The next, I mean, you think that the large banks, the large American banks are safe? Even Bank of America is at risk. So why didn't you think about all this preempt before doing this, before having the crisis blow up in your face? You look at the approach of the Chinese government, they preempt the crisis. America, they will handle the crisis after the fact. These are facts, these are not my interpretation. Right? How many of you knew Silicon Valley Bank was going to go bust? It happened within 24 hours. And unfortunately, it happens at the same time when Credit Suisse was also facing its own crisis. So, the next 12 to 24 months, the Western economies will go through very difficult times. Uh, I do this, like I said, this is the first live outside Malaysia. Because I haven't been to Hong Kong for 3.5 years. It's so good. It's so good to be able
You take off. I got already. You say. Continue. Continue. Can you say again? Testing.
Okay, testing. Yeah. Is it back? Is my battery working? The battery inside my body is working, but the battery for the camera is not working.
Okay.
Right. So the battery inside my body is functioning. So now the battery inside the camera is also working. As I was saying, in 2019 October, I landed Hong Kong airport, and the writers, the protesters were inside the airport. So the whole airport was closed, was locked down, and we were caught in the airport for 6 hours. And on another occasion, also in 2019, we had to change our flight because the airport was closed due to the protests and the riots. We had to change our flight from Hong Kong airport to the Macau airport. So we had to take a taxi to the terminal, the ferry terminal in Hong Kong Island, Central Island, and then we had to take a ferry to go to Macau, and then from Macau we had to take a taxi to go to Macau airport and then fly back to KL. Now I don't have to worry all this kind of nonsense. So is Hong Kong better now? Yes, definitely. Is Hong Kong going to have a better future? You bet. Because as we were landing at the Hong Kong airport on Thursday, the Hong Kong airport is already building the Terminal 3. It's already under construction. The Terminal 3 is going to be huge. It's going to be as big as the Terminal 1 and 2 combined. So Hong Kong will become an even more important international hub. And the best part is all the irritations, all the nuisance, all the disruption, all gone. Thanks to the National Security Law of Hong Kong, which was launched not too long ago. So come if you like. If you don't like all this, what we are saying, what I'm saying, we have a fun gathering in KL. We have a fun gathering in Sydney on Day. So if you've got people in Sydney who wants to listen to our talk, it's at 6 o'clock Sydney at the Sir Stamford Hotel. And then on 25th, we have a gathering in KL. I cannot remember where it is, but you can go to our website or you can email us. We can tell you how to register. It's about our funds, our outlook about the US, about China, and so on and so forth. So please come and just listen to whatever our analysis tells us about China, about US, about Malaysia, and so on. So there was one earlier question asking about Malaysian banks. Uh, it depends on how severe the global crisis, the banking crisis is. If it's just stuck to Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, and then the mid-sized type of banks like Go America, then probably it will not be global. But if it spreads to Charles Schwab, right, or US Bangkok. US Bangkok is about 600 over billion in assets, right? Or spreads to Bank of America. Bank of America is about 3 trillion. Or Citigroup. Citigroup has got 85% or 90% of their deposits uninsured. Because Janet Yellen said a few days ago that those deposits which are not insured by the FIDC, the US government will not bail them out, will not pay back if the bank fails. So if something happens to, say, Citigroup, 85% to 90% of their deposits are not insured. So aren't you going to panic? Aren't you going to take your money out of Citibank because your deposits are going to disappear? If it reaches the level of Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Citigroup, then of course Malaysian banks will be affected because Malaysian banks are very sleepy. They sleep. They hardly give out loans and so on and so forth. But the sentiment is such that this is a global crisis, and therefore people are going to be nervous. So it might not be as the impact might not be as severe as in US, but the psychological impact will flow over not just to Malaysia, but to Singapore, to other Asian countries as well. Okay, Wai Chun asked about my comments on Signature Bank, First Republic, and Silicon Valley. I think I mentioned that, right? Silicon Valley Bank, the main reason is because the assets have to be held, the bonds, the government securities can be held to maturity HTM or AFS available for sale. If you hold them to maturity, then it doesn't impact your balance sheet because you're holding up to maturity. So even though interest rates go up, bond prices plunge, and your bond valuation goes down, it doesn't affect you. But the trouble with Silicon Valley Bank is that they couldn't sell their held to maturity because if they were to sell their held to maturity securities, it's going to be a big loss. So they have to turn to the available for sale, which they did. They sold 21 billion US dollars worth and realized a loss of 1.8 billion US dollars. So when that happened, then Silicon Valley Bank had to call for special to raise new capital to strengthen their balance sheet. So when that happened, then the customers of Silicon Valley Bank, their customers are the technology companies, the startups, the technology companies which were very savvy. When they heard that, then they know that Silicon Valley Bank is in trouble. So immediately they pull out their deposit Silicon Valley Bank. So the whole thing collapsed. The same thing is happening to Signature Bank, which is New York based. The same thing, First Republic. Now, what is worrying about First Republic is this. The stock price of First Republic last night plunged 30%. It has already plunged like 90%. Now, why is the 30% plunge worrying? Because it happened after 11 big American banks, including JP Morgan, have said that they're going to pump in 30 billion to the public. And it's good, it's going to control the panic. But even announcing a 30 billion injection of deposit in First Republic, investors are still scared and the share price plunged like mad. So what news is that investors know that the solution is not so simple. And last night, a lot of other big. So this banking crisis in America is far. And watch the FOMC meeting next week. The open meeting next week, 21st March, where they have to decide whether to increase interest rates again or not. Right? If they don't increase interest rates, then investors are going to panic because it means America is more concerned with the financial stability than with fighting inflation. If they increase interest rate, how much? 25 basis points, 50 basis points. If they increase by 50 basis points, 25 basis points, US interest rates will go up again and therefore affect the banking. So the situation that the Federal Reserve has faced is, damn if you do, damn if you don't. The only way is for the crisis to reach its climax and then it will stop. But the climax is not there yet. Okay? I think.
See you at the gathering.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Sorry, this is the first time we're doing live, right? And it's noisy. Hong Kong is noisy, right? We got just 2 minutes ago. We got this old lady here who talks louder than me. She's older than me, but she talks louder than me. And I think probably you've heard her voice better than my voice. So, and then our battery ran out. They're not experienced in this yet. So if you have any suggestions, how we can improve in doing site, like here, in Hong Kong, send us your suggestions. We definitely promise you that we'll improve the next time. Right? And then either we see you at the next gathering or we see you in our next Facebook Live. And please send in your suggestions, send in your topics, and then subscribe to us and send us your suggestions and your comments. Thank you.